Duke. It is perfection. Wow. Your trucks are too wide. Wow. Is your skateboard holding you back? Today, I'm gonna give you the ultimate skateboard upgrade guide. We're gonna go over your board and every part of it, and I'm gonna tell you when, why, and how you need to upgrade your board, and if you need to upgrade your board. First things first, we're gonna start out with the skateboard deck, shape, size, and material of that board. Generally speaking, most boards are composed of wood. Generally speaking, they have 7 plies of wood, and those pieces, those plies are held together by a glue. Sometimes that glue is water-based, sometimes that glue is epoxy-based. And epoxy-based is gonna make that board stronger. Water-based is gonna make that board a little bit weaker. But if you just look at the board, you will never know what kind of glue it had. Nobody's ever gonna tell you what kind of glue it has. But what you do know and you can see is the shape. So let's start out with the skateboard shape. There are as many shapes as there are skateboards. And over the last many years, there has been a ton of different shapes. Personally, I like a little bit of a bigger nose, which you can tell from my nose. I like a bigger nose. A little bit of a bigger, wider nose. And my tail, I like it to be a little more pointy with maybe just like a little bit of a flat surface here. The skateboard shape is entirely preference-based. You can like pointy on both ends or whatever it is, and you're gonna learn that with a lot of skateboarding and a lot of repetition and a lot of trial and error. Boom. Some people like a really steep nose and tail or really steep concave. The concave is this part right here. That could be really steep and it could give you more or less board control, or it could be really flat. On a really cheap board that you get at Walmart for $15, sometimes it feels like the concave is going this way. And that's how you know, wow, something is really wrong. But you see the shape of the board going down right here and then dipping up. That's the concave, and that's when it's looking good. So based on the shape of your board, you probably are not gonna look at the shape and be like, ah, my shape sucks, I need a new board. But if you're at the skate park and you have your friend's board and you're like, wow, let me try that. And you do some tricks, and you're way better at doing tricks on that shape, or for some reason that shape is better for you. Sometimes the shape is wildly different. Back in the 80s, we had what's called a fish board that kind of went pointy at the front, and then it curved down, and it looked like a shape of fish, hence fish shape board. And you might find that, wow, that's really fun. But now I'm gonna get into the wear and tear. So you see, this board is literally brand new. I just put it on. So there's this thing here called razor tail, where when this starts to get really flattening out, this is gonna hurt your pop. And you can hear how the board sounds. If it's like a real sharp, snappy, crisp sound, your board is good. If you hit your tail on the ground and it's sort of thudding, like dunk, dunk. I don't have a board here that is in that condition to show you, but if you hit your tail on the ground and it sort of thuds, this board is wet, waterlogged, soggy, and it will not pop well. You do need a new board. If you leave your board in the car on a very hot day, it will get soggy. And then you go like this, and you're not gonna hear that crisp, snappy pop sound. You're gonna hear a dook, dook, and you're gonna need to replace your board. So don't leave your board in the car. Do not leave it in the rain. Do not let your board get wet. Any one of these things does require a board replacement. And in the car, you know, it depends on the heat, the temperature. If it's 100 degrees and you're in Los Angeles and your board is in the trunk in your black car, and then you go skateboarding and you do a first pop and your tail does not make a snappy sound, it's time for a new board. Okay, sometimes you'll see pressure cracks going this way, and that can just happen through wear and tear. Sometimes you can see the board delambing a little bit, but mostly from the riding, it's mostly what you're gonna find is the razor tail. Sure, you can scrape your board and scrape the paint off, but it's mostly gonna be that razor tail where you go, man, this thing it's just time for a new board. Another common thing you'll find is the board gets away from you and hits a ledge, or it lands like this, and it chips up. That chip, it's not gonna necessarily affect you like too much, but too many chips are gonna weaken your board, and guess what? It's time for a new board. Okay, so when your board is old and waterlogged and it looks like that, or if your shape is just totally off, or you got a Walmart board and you're ready to start doing some serious tricks, you can go to your local skate shop, support your local skate shop. You can go online at brailleskateboarding.com. You can get a fresh new deck that will look just like this. It looks very nice, and there is no harsh razor tail. Everything is fresh. The pop sounds good. It's a nice board that's gonna carry you forward for a long time. The other thing I wanna say is take care of your board. Don't leave it in the hot car. Don't leave it outside. Please don't let it get wet. Don't let it get in the water, in the rain. Take care of it, and you can have a board last you for a very long time. So if you started on a Walmart board, your upgrade could be to a Best Beginner Complete. If you started on a Best Beginner Complete, your upgrade could be to a professional, high quality Paul Schmidt Sticks board that looks like this. These are what our graphic decks look like. You can go into a professional skateboard shop and they will be very helpful to help you know what is the highest quality of wood that they have. Make sure you ask plenty of questions. Do not be shy. Don't feel like you're gonna be labeled a poser or something like that. Just ask all your questions. Or hopefully I've made enough videos answering the questions so that you go in there educated, you know, and you can make the purchase that you are going to be most happy with in your skateboard and get what's best for you. So that's what the upgrade on the board itself looks like. Also, not all boards are just wood. Some decks have built inside of them carbon fiber, or they are reinforced. Powell makes a special kind of deck, the Andy Anderson deck, and they have it called a flight deck. And that deck is essentially indestructible. It will razor tail. There are parts of it that will wear out, but you can put it on the ground, you can run it over by a car, and it's not breaking. You can try and jump on that board, it's not breaking. The board is not breaking. And we have made videos of this already before that you can watch, but that's what an upgrade in terms of the materials would look like. Traditionally, boards are wood, 7-ply. That is what people like the feel of it. And there are some people that are just traditionalists that will never change what their board is made out of. They want to stick with the classic, the wood 7-ply. Next on the list is grip tape. So first we're gonna cover signs you need an upgrade. So the grip tape is an interesting one because this also comes a little bit into personal preference. I myself like the grippiest grip tape possible, and I recommend for a beginner skateboarder the grippiest grip tape possible. But I have seen some skateboarders, very good skateboarders, take an additional piece of grip tape and rub their grip tape to make it less grippy. So keep that in mind. There's a little bit of a personal preference factor here. But if you look at your grip tape and it's nice and clean, it's free of obstructions, it is perfection. If you look at your grip tape and it is full of dirt, then it's going to be slippery. And that slippery, because of the dirt, is going to give you less traction. It's going to be harder to learn the tricks on that skateboard. That's why I recommend, if you're a beginning skateboarder, get as grippy as possible, the grip you can. Another one you might not be thinking about is what we call sunspots. So when you're skating a ledge and you're doing all these tricks, your foot steps off the board, it gets a little bit of wax on it, then you step on your board. And without even knowing it, you'll get a spot here, a spot there. You leave this board out in the sun too long, and you're gonna get all these sunspots. So what that is actually, it's a little bit of wax on your grip tape. This grip tape is meant to be grippy. Wax is meant to be slippery. Wax on the grip tape is not giving you a good grip. It's not giving you a good flick, and that can be a sign that it's time to upgrade your grip tape. So your upgrade options on your grip are just a fresh sheet of grip tape. You can research the companies and see who has the coarsest grip, medium grip, and then there's also custom graphic design grip, which you can get. Now some graphic, depending on how it was put on there, depending on the way the paint was put on, or if it was marker, etc., or drawing on the grip tape, that could also make your grip tape less grippy. So be aware of that. Just know what you're getting into. But if you want a cool looking sheet of grip tape that has a rad graphic, which I've also skated with in the past myself, I think that's awesome. Extra style points for you on that, so let's go. Now we're gonna talk about the trucks, the backbone of your board. Generally speaking, the high trucks are better for transition, low trucks are better for flip tricks. The sign that you need new trucks are that they are so worn down that you're now grinding into the axle. I have here a pretty fresh, nice, brand new pair of trucks. Your bushings could be so worn out that they're just sort of caving in and cratering. And if you start seeing cracks in your bushings, or you notice that they were a different color, now they're entirely discolored, it's probably time to upgrade your trucks. You probably had them for a long time. The trucks are the one thing though, I must say, that once you break in a good pair of trucks, you wanna sort of keep those trucks forever. Most professional skateboarders, like some kid says, hey, can I have your board? They will say something like, sure, but I wanna keep my trucks. Because they've been with those trucks for a long time. They really wore them in. The grooves they have on those trucks, they worked hard for. But when your trucks are old and rusted and just getting to the end of their lifespan, it's time to upgrade. It's definitely time to upgrade. So what that upgrade can look like, you see here? See how I have a hole in that axle? Yes, I do. It makes it lighter. See how I have a hole in that kingpin? Yes, I do, which makes it lighter. I personally like the lightest pair of trucks possible. A new pair of trucks that just came out are the Grind King lockers, which I think are really cool. They have grooves like this and like that so that you can grind and it holds the rail or the ledge or whatever you're grinding on in place. I think that's cool. I think it's innovative. I think it's smart. So shout out Grind King for making innovative trucks. But your upgrade can look like that. It can look like holes for lighter ability and then also just less scrapes. They're less old, their bushings are newer, and you're gonna have a nice, smoother turn with the upgraded trucks. So when you go to a skate shop, if you want the ones with the holes, you ask for hollows. So these ones right here that I'm riding are Thunder Hollows. I bought them at the local skate shop, and you can just go in and say, I want your lightest pair of trucks. And if they say, well, what size? The easiest way is if you have an 8-inch board, say, give me the trucks that fit an 8-inch board. Different companies size their trucks differently. It can get very confusing, but just know the width of your board and say, I want the trucks that fit blank. And if they give you the trucks and you have your board there, hold the trucks up to the board and see if it lines up. Good, it lines up. We got it. We got the right trucks. If the trucks are sticking out too far, your trucks are too wide. If they're sticking in too far, your trucks are not wide enough. So that's what you need to know about the backbone of your skateboard, the trucks. Next on the list, skateboard wheels. So signs you need an upgrade on the wheels are the wear and tear. This is the #1 sign. So even me, I've been rocking these wheels for a while, and my back wheels generally get more worn than my front. I don't know if you can tell just by looking at it, a size difference here, but generally speaking, I wear this one down more, and these wheels are just, they're just looking a bit smaller than those. It's time for an upgrade. Another one is what we call flat spots. So if I put this board on the ground and I roll, and there's a noise like this, it's because I did a power slide which created a flat spot and caused a motorboat sound. If you have a flat spot in your wheel, it's time for new wheels. It's time for an upgrade. The other one is just the pure discoloration of your wheels. If your wheels are so old that they're turning yellow, like mine are starting to turn, it is time for a wheel upgrade, my friend. And what does that wheel upgrade look like? It looks like fresh, nice. If you like the colored wheels, go for colored. I personally like pure white wheels with no graphic. Then go for the pure white wheels with no graphic. I just love the classic look of a classic skateboard. White wheels, 7-ply maple, boom, classic. So that's what your wheel upgrade would look like. Now, if you just like to ride your board around, you're not into tricks, consider getting softer wheels that are really good for rough surfaces. Is going to be much easier on your knees, much more enjoyable to ride. Your push is going to take you further and longer, and you're going to have more fun just riding your board because you got that softer wheel that's easier to ride on. Next piece The bearings. So what's the sign that you need new bearings? Well, that's a good question, and sometimes this is gonna be up for a little bit of debate. So first we're gonna start out by just spinning these. Pretty decent, but notice one thing in there, notice that. See how my shield is popped off? Some people pop off their shields on purpose. Some people like to leave them on there. Generally, that shield is meant to prevent too much dirt from getting in there. So see how the shield is not moving, the wheel itself is, and there's a gaping hole right there. So if I ride this through dirt, I'm gonna get dirt in those ball bearings and it's not going to spin as well. This one, you can tell I do have more dirt and there's more debris in there. You can actually just look in there and you can see it's a bit more dirty than the other one. But also this wheel spins far less well. And when I first started out, it gives you this sort of like nasty sort of sound. Sometimes the wheels can get so bad that it goes, literally sounds like this. Like a cat that got his tail stepped on. If your bearings sound like that, it's time to upgrade those bearings. And the bearing upgrade just simply looks like brand new bearings that are nice and quiet. Bearings that are broken in more generally will roll longer and you'll just have a more broken in, nice, smoother sounding bearing than you would with a brand new one. Okay, so when you're looking at purchasing bearings, there are many different kinds. You can get your lowest standard of bearing, which is, I forget the pricing these days, but it's like Bones Reds would be a lower version, and then you have the upgrade from there, and the highest level is called ceramic. Ceramic bearings are very expensive and they're the highest level bearing available. Personally, I think ceramic bearings are a little bit of an overkill. If you go Bones Swiss bearings, this is like a very high level that's not gonna completely break the bank. It's not like way too overkill, but it'll get you a nice ride with just having good bearings that work well. But also, run-of-the-mill regular bearings, you wanna know on the ABEC rating, ABEC. The higher the number on the ABEC, the better the bearings are. So that's a more precision defined, the way the ball bearings work, it's gonna be a better roll. That's what the ABEC is measuring, and it's gonna give you the higher rating is the better bearings. That's the basic thing to understand there. So you can just go to the skate shop and look at the different bearings and choose one that has a pretty decent ABEC rating, and then get your bearings, put them on and give it a roll. And the better they roll, the better you're rolling and the more fun you're gonna have on your skateboard. With all of these things in your skateboard, taking proper care and doing proper maintenance to it is very important, because that can prevent you having to buy new grip tape, having to buy a new board, wheels, trucks, etc. The other thing I wanna mention is that you don't need a fresh new board of everything every time. In fact, I covered this already a little bit, but you want to keep your trucks as long as you can. These trucks are broken in, they're nice. You can just change your board. You could just change your grip tape. You could just change your wheels, etc. You can pull the bearings out of your old wheels, put them in your new ones, and just change your wheels. And that can be an awesome upgrade for you. Your hardware is like this. It's what holds your trucks on. And you can tell you need new hardware when it starts to get stripped. Like, look at that one right there. It's like, come on, Aaron, what did you do? Who's putting this hardware in? You doing that yourself? As opposed to one like that, which looks dang near brand new. This does not need to be replaced. This one for this board probably doesn't need to be replaced either, but I have taken this so far where I couldn't get the trucks on the board or off. So if that gets so stripped, I won't be able to turn it to get the truck off. Or when I try to put that on the next board, I won't be able to get it on. In that case, you need new hardware. Sometimes people use risers, which are just little pieces right in here that rise your trucks up to make them higher. So as we went over earlier on the trucks, the higher trucks can be better for transition skating. If you don't want to get new trucks, just get a pair of risers. That will raise your wheels off the board and it'll rise your trucks up higher. And that's a quick, easy fix for you. You can also put the risers on and off depending on what kind of terrain you're skating and where you're skating. Color hardware can make it easier for you to identify your nose and tail, as well as sometimes I'll do a cutout on my grip tape so I know every time, oh, my tail is the side with the cutout. Be smart about it. Small upgrades that can help a lot are skate wax, that you can wax whatever obstacle you're working on to slide and helps the slide better. Shoe goo, if you have a hole wearing in your shoe, you can put some shoe goo on. I'll do a whole separate video on how to repair old skate shoes. and make them last as long as possible. But these are little upgrades that can make a big difference. I hope you guys enjoyed the ultimate upgrade guide. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, like, and you, yes you, learn to ride a skateboard. We got everything you need at BrailleSkateboarding.com.